everybody, it's Aysel, the in-house illustrator at Vectornator. Happy Pride Month! Today's challenge was to use the Pride flag to create an illustration. I initially thought this would be a big challenge because the colors are just so saturated and bright. But once I got my idea rolling, it was easier than expected to use them all. Drag culture is definitely bright and colorful, and since we have a pretty big drag scene here in Berlin, I decided to create a drag character. I have first sketched her out in Procreate. And now I'm using the brush tool to trace out some of the lines. I want to preserve the sketch aesthetic though, so you will notice that I'm not closing my paths. And I'm using a very basic brush. It's pretty flat and thin at both ends. Okay, now that we can see the face in more detail, can you guess who I've used as a face model? It's Sasha Velour. Her famous monobrow gave her away, right? Alright, let's focus on our colors. For the hair, I made a gradient that goes from white to green and to blue. You can add as many colors as you want to gradient by tapping once on the gradient bar. And now with the brush tool, I'm just tracing the shape of her hair. It's a freehand tool and it literally works like pen on paper. Or if you're used to Procreate brushes, it's like that. The only difference is that you're creating vectors and not pixels. I've used the same color for her eyes for that added cat-like effect. By the way, these are not the final colors. We're going all out today, so they're gonna be very bright at the end. But now all my shapes are on low opacity, so I can see the sketch underneath. From here on, I'm really just tracing my entire sketch with the pen tool. And can we talk about her outfit for a minute? It's probably one of my favorite parts of this illustration. I went for a full black latex fit because I wanted to play with the reflections. I thought it was a nice and subtle way to include the pride colors. Accessories are super important. And I especially love the gloves with the long acrylic nails. Honestly, I would love to get myself a pair. And I added some Gaga-esque spikes to the dress, just to make it even more extra. We have a tutorial on character fashion that explains the steps you need to take when designing clothing. It really needs to fit their personality and their setting. I personally think it's a super fun part of characterization. Okay, now for the reflected colors in the latex, I've created a gradient that starts and ends with purple, but we have blue and green in between. Easy way to cover 3 colors in one move. I pull on the top and bottom handles quite a lot. This helps with creating a smooth transition between colors. Before we reveal how bright our colors are, let me do the background. When I have simple shapes like these stripes, I prefer the pen tool. Some stripes I'm duplicating, some I'm creating from scratch. It really depends on how they're positioned. Okay, we're slowly moving to details. Let's start with the shadow behind her. To keep up with the theme, the light is also very dramatic and it's coming from the lower right side. And while I was making my original sketches, I noticed how the spikes create a crown shape. So I decided to add a shadow that crowns my queen. Then I moved on to the shadows on the character's face and body. The color I'm using is a purple to transparent gradient. And I adjust the intensity of the shadow by dragging on the gradient handle. This makes the purple more or less prominent. Oh, and for shadows, I always use multiply blend mode, because for highlights I use screen. This is definitely a more advanced tutorial, but you can always download the vectornator file from the description below, so you can analyze the shape of the highlights and shadows in your own time. I love the colors on full opacity. They're bright, but I think they work well together. And the character still stands out, even though we used all the colors in the rainbow, literally. Enjoy the Pride Month, you guys. I have more tutorials coming for you, so stay tuned. Like, comment, and always subscribe so you don't miss what's next.